CWR. And I think we may be able to thank WMG because we're hearing every day of the wonderful things that people are doing to help each other through these tough times. And our local academics are making a difference too. The WMG at the University of Warwick is helping scientists, manufacturers and engineers who have developed an alternative model of ventilator to support the government's drive to equip the NHS. Let's speak to Margot James, Executive Chair of WMG at the University of Warwick. Good afternoon, Margot.
Hi, good afternoon, Trish.
Good to speak to you, and it's great.
Thank you.
It's great that businesses and from our patch are trying to help the government. Tell us how WMG is helping.
Well, WMG are helping in a number of ways, and our researchers and engineers have been absolutely brilliant in working 24/7 to help Exavent, which has come up with this concept of a ventilator which sits over the patient's chest and allows the lungs to inflate. And what the good news was this week was that WMG have been able to help develop the prototype that will enable this to go into 3 hospitals next week to test the machines on actual patients.
Oh my goodness.
And then we will have the results. But it's absolutely fantastic what the WMG team have done in terms of marshalling the supply chain, getting manufacturers that are able to actually manufacture what is a very good idea and a good concept, turning it into something that can actually physically be taken to hospitals, put on patients, and then we all have to hope that it lives up to its promise.
That is incredible. Such a fast turnaround. I mean, I hear it's the kind of a reinvention of the archetypal iron lung, which helps save the lives of countless polio victims. Is that right?
That is right, yes. It's a lot easier on the patient than the old iron lung, which, as you rightly say, Trish, has saved the lives of many, many polio victims in the last century. Whereas the old style equipment basically encased the whole patient, this new approach is lighter and it just fits around the patient's chest area. So in other words, it's really just applying itself to the part of the body which needs it rather than the whole body. And therefore, it's much easier, it's lighter, it's cheaper to manufacture, it's a simpler device. And we shouldn't get ahead of ourselves. It's got to be tested in the real clinical setting, but it certainly has, as a concept, a great deal of promise. And I'm so proud of the people, our scientists and engineers and researchers at WMG that have been able to produce it with companies in a format that we can actually see what it does in a clinical setting.
Well, we're really proud of you. Please let us know how the testing goes and, potentially, if it all goes well, how quickly, Margot, could it be rolled out?
Very quickly. It's a pretty simple device, and it is relatively, as I mentioned, cheap to make. And we're optimistic that if it proves itself and the clinicians actually want to work with it, we could get production up to about 1,000 units a week pretty swiftly.
That is incredible. I hear you've also...
there's clearly no time to be lost.
No, of course, absolutely. We know the controversy over testing. So if anything that can help patients, we want it out there and want it out now. Also, very quickly, you've been helping with PPE, personal protection equipment, in particular face shields. Tell us about that.
Yes, we have been. Immediately this crisis emerged, WMG set up a COVID-19 response team and working with businesses trying to generate a procedure whereby a supply chain is capable of producing PPE at greater scale. And, for example, I know that WMG have already donated 72,000 protective gloves, a significant volume of protective overalls, and we're in the process of coordinating with partner businesses a product that we hope could get into the supply chain for the NHS, really from the auto and aerospace industries.